Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here. I'm going to hit you guys with another review request. This one courtesy of my buddy Christian Hanna, who requested that I talk about John Carpenter's The Fog. And I'm not going to really tackle The Fog like a traditional movie review. Kind of just want to talk about the movie, talk about things that stand out to me about the movie, things that I think are really well done pertaining to the movie, etc., etc. And the first thing that really stands out to me about The Fog is the fact that it was John Carpenter's follow-up to Halloween. Of course, we all know Halloween, the wildly successful and popular Halloween from 1978, which for many, many years was the highest grossing independent film ever. So I think there was probably some unreasonable expectations for The Fog when it was first released. I mean, it had some pretty big shoes to fill. And there's a lot of elements from Halloween that are passed over into The Fog. A lot of the same crew that worked on Halloween also worked on The Fog. You know, Dean Cundey shot the movie. Tommy Lawless was the production designer. So it's got that same look. It's got that same beautiful widescreen Panavision look to it. The film has a strong emphasis on suspense, on tightening the screws, just like Halloween. The Fog itself sort of takes on its own character. It's this sort of unstoppable, irrational force, a la Michael Myers. Yet at the same time, there are elements of sort of, it's at its core, really, The Fog is a supernatural revenge tale. There are the ghosts or zombie-like spirits of these mariners who were led to their death 100 years ago by the townspeople of Antonio Bay. And as Antonio Bay is gearing up to celebrate its 100th year founding, the fog rolls into town. And of course, amidst the fog are these ghostly zombie creatures who are bent on revenge. And we get a lot of sort of, slashery type elements in the movie with the pirates or the mariners or whatever, killing people, knocking people off one by one in the town. It's kind of funny if you listen to the commentary on the DVD. John Carpenter talks about the making of the movie, and once he had done his director's cut of the movie, the first assembly of the movie, he watched it and he said, "It's not scary. It just doesn't work. There's something missing." So he went back and he reshot a lot of stuff, like the scene with Tom Atkins and Jamie Lee Curtis, in like the morgue where the guy who got killed on the boat and his eyes popped out. He like gets up and comes after Jamie Lee Curtis. That was a reshoot. There was a lot of reshoots on to make the movie more violent, close-ups of people being stabbed or slashed or whatever, just to make the movie more violent, which, we didn't really get that in the original Halloween, but I think, the sentiment of, it was 1980, movies like Friday the 13th were coming out that were a lot more violent than Halloween. The payoff wasn't the build up, and then it wasn't the suspense. The payoff was the payoff, just a good, blunt, bloody, kill. As I mentioned, Jamie Lee Curtis is back. Another thing that's notable about the movie is Jamie Lee Curtis gets to work with her mother, Janet Leigh, in the film, which was very nice. Tom Atkins is in the movie. He plays this cool sort of fella who, I forget his backstory, but he's driving cross country or something. He picks up Jamie Lee Curtis, who's out hitching, and like 15 minutes later, he's got her in bed. So, pure Atkins right there. Pure Atkins. Adrienne Barbeau, who I'm not sure if she was, I don't know if she was married to John Carpenter at the time or not. She's in the film, gives a very good performance as a radio DJ. Her radio booth or whatever is inside this lighthouse, so she sees the fog coming, and there's a really cool sequence where the ghouls or whatever you want to call them are chasing her up on the lighthouse, and that's really cool. It's just a really good movie. I mean, the bottom line is it's just a really good movie. It wasn't appreciated in its day. It wasn't a huge hit back in its day, but it's one of those movies that I think, people like me of my generation, we probably caught it on TV, and then we, rented it on VHS, and you know, it's really, it's unfortunately, I think, one of those movies. You know, when you think of Carpenter, of course you think of Halloween, you think of The Thing, you think of movies like that. You know, The Fog isn't really one that jumps to mind, to the forefront, but it's certainly, I think, one of his better movies. It's a little bit more violent than Halloween, but it's got a lot of the same elements that made Halloween really special. And actually, I mean, I think with the fog is sort of, there's a more palpable sense of dread in the fog, because, you know, the fog, you know, the way that they shot the movie with the fog, I mean, they had fog blowers everywhere, and they would have to shoot the movie in reverse, or they'd shoot it and then reverse it so that it looked like the fog was moving around, like the fog had, you know, a mind of its own, like it was guided through the streets. You know, the way that the ghouls or whatever look, you know, they were lepers. I don't think I'm spoiling anything here. It was a leper colony that was trying to seek refuge in Antonio Bay, and the people of Antonio Bay didn't want the lepers, but they wanted their gold, so they sent them into the rocks. They crashed, they drowned, they died. The townspeople plundered their gold, and ultimately that's what the ghouls are after. Even though, I mean, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure what gold's worth is in the afterlife, but apparently it's enough for them to come back 100 years later and to slaughter a whole bunch of people to reattain it. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, The Fog it's one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. It's one that I actually watch The Fog, I think, more often than you know, if I sit down and I kind of, you know, I look to the collection, and you know, The Fog always kind of sticks out to me. The Fog is one of those movies that's just fun to watch on top of it all. The DVD has a lot of cool special features on it. An interview with John Carpenter, an interview not long ago with John Carpenter when the DVD first came out. There's an interview with John Carpenter from back in 1980 before the film was released. There's commentary. There's lots of cool stuff on it, lots of stuff to learn about the movie if you are a fan of it, and I can't imagine why you wouldn't be a fan of John Carpenter's The Fog. It was remade a few years ago. What little I saw of the remake was utterly horrendous. Steer clear from it, as if your life depends on it. What little bit I saw of it was really, really, really bad. So, but yeah, The Fog. If you haven't seen The Fog in a long time, if it's not one of those movies that, you know, like I said, that jumps to the forefront of your mind when you think of a good horror movie or a good John Carpenter movie, you know, go check it out. You can buy it online, pretty cheap. Go watch it, you know, go buy it. If it's one of those that you haven't watched in a long time, give it another look. You know, if you're a younger person and you're kind of newer to the genre, and you know of you know, the sort of marquee John Carpenter titles, but you don't know about The Fog, absolutely go and check it out immediately. You won't be let down. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of The Fog. If you think I left any high points out, just a really good, solid movie, and that's really the bottom line. So, Christian, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to do your own review requests, go over to my Facebook page, like it, and I'll be posting here soon. Try and do one every week or every other week, where I'll just say, hey, give me a review request, and I'll pick one, or if there's one that you know, a lot of people are saying go with, then I'll do that. So, but again, thanks, Christian, and thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.